So this is Officer Kaylin Stevens riding Maximus, who is a 5, almost 6-year-old thoroughbred Clydesdale gelding. This is her first time riding him. And this is just a typical regular equitation lesson. Is it feeling more normal? It's probably going to. It should be a lot more comfortable, actually, once you get past the newness of it. But it looks good. You look, yeah. So once you hit the garage door, go ahead and come down the diagonal for a change of rein. Give him a little bit longer of a rein. So he is, which is odd. I'm wondering if he's hearing the grain or whatever is being poured in there. He is pretty rock solid of a horse, and he's not as stubborn as Liberty. So while he still needs the same cues and the same commands, he should not be as challenging when it comes to when you ask him to do something. So for him, you can give him a slightly longer rein than you would have to give Liberty in order to get a response out of him. So these next couple of walking laps, I just want to work on his flexion a little bit. So his head, he's holding his head at a really good spot. He doesn't seem to be pulling against you much. So the only thing is, once we are rounding these corners, I want you to use those inside aids lightly to make him bend a little bit better. So right here, inside, there, much better. So inside, and good. That was a good flexion correction. So now he's kind of tiptoeing and he's realizing, okay, I can get away with a little bit more on Kaylin. So I want you to start incorporating those half halts. So when he starts to tiptoe or move his body in a direction you didn't ask him to, give him that half halt of, hey, you're listening to me, you're focusing on me, I'm asking you to do this. So right here, half halt, and then ask for the flexion. Good. So do you understand what your body needs to be doing for a half halt? So not quite. So it'll be a little bit different with each horse that we have, just given their own little quirks. But a half halt is essentially what you would do to a human, where you'd poke them in the ribs and say, hey, focus, you've lost attention, we need to be working. The same is kind of with the horse. So it's when they are getting lackadaisical, they're relaxing a little bit, and you need to say, hey, you're not using your hind end to drive us forward, you need to do that. So what you should be doing with your body is, it's almost like a quick squeeze of your whole body. So if you think about it, you'll squeeze to tell them to go fast or to even stop. Think of that as a really quick of, hey, we need to move forward. So your legs have to be also doing it, and your hips can give them a little, if you think of rolling your hips, it almost signifies to him of, oh, I need to use my hind end to push us forward. So just like that position that you just did is pretty much the half halt. It's just while he's already walking. So once you get him going down this straightaway, we'll have you doing half halts. So once you hit B, give a half halt. Oh, he's going. There you go. So half halt. So I don't want you to pull back on him at all. Don't really do anything with your reins. I want you to just focus on your hips and your legs. Give him some flexion to turn this corner nice. and half halt. So his body, he's kind of overdoing what you're asking. He's flexing. He's like, okay, she's asking me to flex. I'm going to flex a lot because he's not focusing on keeping his hind end moving. So when I say half halt, it's to tell him, hey, keep your butt moving forward, but round while you're doing it. So half halt and wiggle your inside reins. Good. Half halt, because now he's slowing down, he's stopping. So give him a slightly looser rein. Good. And once you pass A and you get in the corner, go ahead and go down the diagonal for a change of rein. Yeah, that's okay. You'll just have to, when you hit M, make sure you turn right. Good. This is a much better pace, which leads me to believe your half halts are being effective. Okay. So at A, you're going to go ahead and ask him to do a trot, and I just want a nice, simple one-lap trot. So we're going to try that again. I want you, when you come across this corner right here at E, I want you to think half halt, get him moving forward, listening to you well. So half halt, walk.
I feel like I'm trying to him,
Mm-hmm.
they start.
Okay.
So then I'm trying to correct it to get him back over.
So I want you to think of a smaller squeeze then. Okay. So just like a literally, so it's going to be a, your hips are going to do, as funny as that looks, that's kind of what it should be doing. So think smaller squeeze, okay. And I want you to really focus that your reins are not doing anything different.
Okay. Might just be like obviously.
Yeah, and it's totally fine because you're still learning, Max. So. And get your body a little tighter, and you're going to get prepared to ask for the trot. Good. That was a good half halt. I saw his response and his reaction. So ask him to trot. So kick and a big kick. Good. So a half halt is similar in the trot, but you'll think of it when you're going up. So he's going kind of slow, so go ahead and give him another kick. Because he's just being there. That's a better trot. And give him another one because he's just being really lazy. Good. I just want you to focus right now on feeling him and getting an idea of what this trot is like versus the trot or the posting on the correct diagonal for a minute. I know there's a lot to think about right now. So I want you to get him to feel good in the trot and feel a good pace with him. Good. So now go ahead and do your double sit so that you're on the correct diagonal. There. And at A, you can go ahead and have him walk. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep him trotting until you get there. Good. All right, go ahead and have him walk. Woo! I did not like that little trip. He just like tripped on his foot. I just really hate when horses trip. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Oh yeah. So that was good. Like I said, you're learning how Max feels. He's going to be different than Liberty. So I'm happy with that. So you'll go past C, and once you get to the garage door, come down the diagonal of a change of rein. So right there, wiggle your inside. There you go. He wanted to look over at the group hanging out on the wall. All right, so now I want, from this, in this 15-minute quadrant, I want a good solid walk. And once you get to the 9 o'clock, then I'm going to have you pick up the trot, and I want you to trot a good solid lap. Good. Go ahead and sit 2. Good. Come on. So he had those outside distractions. You lost your stirrup, so we'll start your lap here. So sit 2. Good. So now I want you to think every time you go up on your post, squeeze your calves a little bit. Give him that little nudge of, hey, you got to keep your body moving forward. You're slowing down. Keep them going, keep them going. Good. All right, go ahead and let him walk. Good. So I think for the first time of you riding him, it went well. You've really only ever ridden Liberty or Hondo, which are 2 horses that are as stubborn as they come. So it went well. You just having to learn his cues, his personality or whatnot, you'll get there. Brand new saddle, brand new horse. I am happy with the outcome. So go ahead and give him one more nice solid walking, just cool down lap, and then you can untack and he can go back in the stall. Trucks and, well, both trailers should both have a whip in it, a long whip, preferably the bright one so that they can see it, but it doesn't matter all that much. There should always be 2 people loading a horse. Yes, some of our horses can do it no problem without it, but we need to be in the habit of always doing it the exact same way. One thing that needs to be avoided is the tug of war with the horses. Max, for example, 2 years ago when we first got him, there was an incident going to a parking pet where they got into a tug of war. Nobody ever told Emily or I about that. So then the next time that I went to take Max on a patrol, we could not get him into the trailer to the point where I had to go get a different horse because we were doing everything in our power. So we came back. It ended up taking us 5 hours to finally get that horse in the trailer. So that's what we need to avoid. Not only that, trailering has such a potential for big incidents to happen, whether that be with officers or the public. And so we've found that the public, for some reason, think when we are loading a horse or unloading a horse, it's the perfect time to come and ask if they can pet the horse or something. It's a high enough stress situation for both the handler and the horses that we need to be able to cut that middleman out. So 2 people to 1 horse ratio, just like parking pets, same with loading and unloading. Well, loading for sure. All of our horses are at the point where they should be able to self-load somewhat, meaning we are not walking onto the trailer or pulling them onto the trailer. The trailers are not big enough. The horses get excited and start moving faster once they finally get loaded. We just need to cut that out. So the whip is used as an aid to remind the horse to drive with their hind end. Just like we worked with half halts and going over poles, we need to remind the horses to drive with their hind end. So you will have your individual, we'll show it with the horse here in a second, but you will have your individual that's leading the horse where they need to go, while this person is driving the horse from behind. We're not whipping the horse or smacking the horse, but we're reminding them, hey, we're back here, keep driving, keep driving, keep driving, until they get up and on and into the trailer. If a horse starts to back out, we will continue to remind them that they're there, but we're not going to get into that tug of war. So if they start to back out of it, you'll see it probably with Max and Lincoln more than the other horses, but if that happens, you'll reset it up and you'll continue to ask the same way until the change is made. One thing that we realized with the other group is once the horse gets on the trailer, they're not done being loaded. So everybody can't just leave at that point. The way that it works best, it doesn't work this way every time, but the way that we found is easiest, is the individual that is leading the horse on will send the horse while this individual is back here keeping them going. The individual that's driving from behind will then stay here to make sure nothing happens and the horse doesn't start backing up, while the person that was leading the horse goes around to the window to pull them in and hook them up, take their lead rope off and whatnot. At that point, the person that was driving from behind needs to go and close the divider. So we were finding that we were missing things because everybody's just kind of leaving once the horse gets on. The divider has to be closed because we can't load a second horse, and nothing's worse than when you've got a horse getting ready to load and you're like, oh crap, the divider's not even shut yet. So again, we're not going to dictate that that's how it goes because things change rapidly once the horse gets on. But if you try to make that a good rule for yourself, we avoid a lot of confusion. Now, with our trucks and trailers, you want to have the majority of the weight over the axles. So for this trailer, if you've got 4 horses, it's not going to matter. We've got 4 spaces, fill them up. If you're only taking 2 or 3, you want to close the front stall and use the middle 2 for 2, and then the last 3 for the 3 horses. So you want the majority of the weight to be over the wheels. Questions thus far? Okay. Make sure that the windows are down. Our horses, I don't know what you're doing. Yes, but make sure the windows are down. Our horses, it's a scary enough event for them to load into the trailer. They get claustrophobic. They feel like they're going to get stuck in there. If their windows are down, they have something that they can see and a little bit of an scapegoat that they can pay attention to. You will find different quirks with different horses. For example, Max, after he had that whole little traumatic incident, we would not get him loaded unless we took everything out of this tack room and collapsed this. Now, do we want that to happen every single time? No, but if we're out on an event and we need him loaded and we're realizing he's not loading until we do collapse this, just collapse it. Lincoln, for example, Lincoln likes to try to be really smart, and he realizes, oh, if somebody's over here driving from this side, I'll just dip out that way. Well, that person then, the person that's doing the leading needs to be cognizant of that, and they need to say, hey, nope, I'm over here. You don't get to dip this way. Go up and in. Some horses, Lincoln, for example, don't like to load unless there's another horse already in there. Liberty is our stud. He does whatever you tell him to. So Liberty does really well going first. Lincoln loads well as long as Liberty's in there. So if you can set yourself up for success, do that. The 3 big boys, Jess, Luther, and Maccabee, they don't fit. Luther and Jess definitely don't fit in one stall, but Maccabee does not fit well if he needs the divider shut. So if possible, put him on the last stall so that he's got that extra bit of room. Okay. Once we get a horse out here, we'll go over how to back them out. Questions thus far? Okay. How you're going to do this? Can you do the driving portion? You need to give the horse enough space when he's loading to build up momentum. We do not want the horse trotting onto the trailer, but they need to have enough speed walking that they can get their big bodies up and in there. So you will start putting the lead rope over their head so that they're not tripping on it and they're not getting caught on it. But you can still have a good handle. If something happens where they pull away, they dip or whatnot, the rope will fall off and you will still have a good handle on it. This is important where we reiterate not to wrap the rope. If you have too much rope, we pinch it. Trailering is where ropes get pulled taut. So make sure your horse is paying good attention to you. Okay, so Lincoln is one that likes to dip this way. So I'm going to stand on this side. We have a third person here, so giving him that block on that side sets us up for success as well. So Celesta is going to put her rope over his neck. She still has plenty of lead if she needs it, but he's not tripping on it, getting tangled in it, whatnot. She's going to give him plenty of room to build up enough momentum to load himself in the trailer. And I'm going to stand over here reminding him, Link, we're going to drive in, we're going to drive in, we're going to drive in, up, 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 load, load. A little bit more momentum next time. Again, he didn't load, he backed out, so we're going to set it up again. Come on, Link. Load. Load. You got to get going faster, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. So you'll come up here, you hook it on his side, not the bottom one, the side one. Take the rope off, and in the tack room it goes.